Back in Nigeria, Akwaabata met Ndidi, a radiant woman of grace and intellect who seemed to embody everything he admired. Their courtship was swift and filled with promise, culminating in a lavish wedding that was the talk of Lagos. Together, they built a life that appeared picture-perfect, with 3 children who became the heart of their world. But cracks soon formed beneath the surface. Business trips grew longer, late-night calls became more secretive, and Ndidi's unease deepened. She watched her suspicions festering. Yet she remained silent, her love for her family warring with her growing certainty of his infidelity. Rather than confront him outright, Ndidi devised a calculated plan. Quietly, she began taking cybersecurity classes, her evenings spent learning from a shadowy hacker who taught her the dark arts of surveillance. Within months, she had access to Akwaabata's private communications, and the truth unraveled before her. Each mistress had her own story, her own set of promises from Akwaabata. Ndidi's heartbreak turned to fury, her resolve solidified into a singular purpose. She would reclaim control of her life and her family's future. When Akwaabata announced a business trip to the United States during Thanksgiving, Ndidi saw her moment. She booked a flight under a false name, her every move methodical and precise. Hours later, she arrived at his destination, a quiet determination stealing her nerves. What she uncovered would shatter their lives and expose the man behind the mask, a revelation that would set into motion a reckoning neither of them could escape. Ndidi sat in her dimly lit bedroom, the glow of her laptop casting sharp shadows across her face. The spreadsheet before her was a labyrinth of betrayal, emails, receipts, and phone logs that traced a chilling map of her husband's infidelity. Every detail cut deeper than the last. Akwaabata, the man she had built a life with, the father of her children, had been living a lie. She leaned back, the weight of realization pressing down on her chest. Memories flooded her mind. The early days of their marriage when Akwaabata had been a pillar of love and devotion, a man who made promises that felt like unshakable vows. She had believed in him, drawn to his strength, his humility, a reflection of the father she had lost too soon. But now, those memories felt like mirages in a desert of deceit. Tears traced silent paths down her cheeks, but Ndidi did not let them consume her. Anger simmered beneath the surface, but she did not let it take hold. Anger, she had learned, was fleeting. What she needed now was clarity and resolve. She was an African woman, and she knew the power of quiet strength and calculated moves. This battle would not be fought with fury, but with strategy. Her children. They were her first thought, her highest priority. If Akwaabata's mistresses or their children ever laid claim to his estate, her own children could be left vulnerable. She would not let that happen. Not now, not ever. The next morning, Ndidi picked up her phone and dialed a familiar number. Barrister Amaka answered on the second ring, her voice brisk and professional. "Amaka, I need your help," Ndidi said, her tone steady despite the storm raging inside her. "I want to secure all of Akwaabata's major assets, and I need it done quietly." Amaka hesitated. "Ndidi, are you certain about this? Acting without your husband's knowledge could have serious consequences." "I'm certain," Ndidi replied, her voice firm. "Tell me what I need to do." Over the following weeks, Ndidi became a silent architect of her family's future. Documents were transferred, accounts secured, and safety deposit boxes arranged in her name alone. A trusted family friend in Nigeria helped lock down the oil investments tied to Akwaabata's name. Every move was precise, every detail considered. And through it all, Ndidi maintained the illusion of normalcy. She attended PTA meetings, cooked dinner for her children, and hosted family gatherings, all while carrying the crushing weight of her husband's betrayal. As the holiday season approached, Akuabata announced his latest business trip over dinner. "I'll be heading to the US for a few meetings," he said casually, slicing into his steak. "I'll be back before Christmas." Ndidi smiled, her expression warm and unreadable. "Of course, my dear. Safe travels." Inside, her resolve solidified. She had already booked her flight, carefully choosing a different airline to avoid detection. She had the address of the suburban home where he would be staying, thanks to the tracking software she had quietly installed on his phone. Every piece was in place. Thanksgiving morning in the United States dawned crisp and cold. Ndidi stood on the doorstep of a luxurious suburban home, her breath forming pale clouds in the frosty air. Laughter spilled from inside, a woman's laughter. It pierced her like a dagger, but she remained still, her face a mask of composure. Summoning her courage, Ndidi knocked. The laughter inside quieted. Moments later, the door swung open. Akuabata stood in the doorway, his face a canvas of shock and disbelief. Behind him, a woman's voice called out, "Honey, who's at the door?" His lips parted, but no words came. The color drained from his face as he staggered back, clutching his chest. "Ndidi, what are you doing here?" he croaked. Before she could respond, his body crumpled to the floor. The woman screamed, rushing to his side. Ndidi stood frozen, her mind reeling. Akuabata, the man she had once loved so fiercely, lay lifeless before her. Back in the UK, Ndidi sat in her lawyer's office, signing the final documents to secure her children's inheritance. News of Akuabata's death had spread rapidly, and with it came a deluge of scandal. Mistresses emerged from the shadows, their voices loud and insistent. Photos and videos flooded social media, exposing a life of indulgence and deceit. The media turned its gaze on Ndidi, speculating about her silence, her composure. She offered no comment, letting the storm rage around her. Privately, she mourned the man Akuabata had been, or perhaps the man she had believed him to be. She grieved for her children, who would grow up bearing the burden of their father's choices. But Ndidi did not falter. Her plans had worked. Her children's future was secure. The vultures could not touch them. Months later, as the frenzy began to fade, Ndidi stood in her living room watching her children play. Her eldest, a boy of 10, had his father's fire in his eyes, his posture straight and determined. She knelt beside him, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Always remember, my son, that your name carries greatness," she said softly. "But greatness comes with responsibility. Never forget that." The boy nodded solemnly, his young mind already grasping the weight of her words. Ndidi straightened, gazing out the window at the endless horizon. The road ahead would not be easy, but she was ready. She had endured betrayal, faced scandal, and overcome loss. And now she would pour every ounce of her strength into raising her children to be better than the man their father had become. As she closed her eyes, she whispered a prayer, not of vengeance, but of hope, for her children, her legacy, and the unshakable strength that had carried her this far. Thank you for watching and joining us on this incredible journey. Be sure to explore more of our stories on the channel, or click on the next video YouTube recommends. If this story touched your heart, please like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more captivating African tales. Don't forget to tap the notification bell to stay connected to the wisdom and beauty of these stories. Until next time, stay blessed and keep shining.